Welcome in to Run the League, Week 7, and it's Stardom Situm time. So let's do this. Let's get ready for the week, and let's get some wins this week. Here we go. All right, y'all, welcome in to Week 7. We have Stardom Situm for the week, and of course, we're going to start with the quarterback position. So my starts this week at the quarterback spot, Tua Tagovailoa against the Atlanta Falcons, and Matt Ryan against the Miami Dolphins. These two are playing against each other. Obviously, I think this is going to be a great matchup for points. I think both sides are going to score a ton. Tua looks really good coming back this past week. I think he'll have a really nice performance. Matt Ryan coming off the bye week. Get some of his top options back, such as Calvin Ridley. We saw Kyle Pitts take a step up, so I think both of those guys are going to have good weeks. My start of the week at the quarterback position is Aaron Rodgers. He takes on the Washington football team. I just think Aaron Rodgers is about to have that quarterback one performance, that top 5 performance this week. Packers are going to score a lot of points. So Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. I even think Robert Tonyan could finally have a better performance this week. Aaron Rodgers, I would start him. I think it's a great opportunity for him to have a bounce back on what has kind of been a disappointing year fantasy-wise for the star quarterback in Green Bay. My sits this week, Joe Burrow taking on the Baltimore Ravens on the road. The Ravens looked awesome this past week against the Chargers. I think that continues, and I think Joe Burrow struggles a little bit. I'm a little concerned about his pass catchers. Obviously, Jamar Chase could save his game with a big touchdown, which we've seen happen pretty much every week, but I am definitely concerned about Joe Burrow against the Ravens, especially on the road this week. Also, Daniel Jones versus the Carolina Panthers. He and Sam Darnold are two guys that I really don't want to play this week. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Both offenses are probably going to struggle. The Giants don't have Kadarius Toney. It seems like that's going to be a significant injury for the rookie wide receiver, which is unfortunate. So I think both offenses will struggle and both defenses will thrive. So do not play Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold this week if you can help it. So, and then I've also started this segment. I started it last week. The top guy I am worried about this week. So basically one of those top 10 surefire guys who I'm just a little concerned about coming into the week. And this week, it's Tom Brady versus the Bears. The Bears' defense has been really good. Last week, they held Aaron Rodgers to a quarterback 9 finish. Now, that's a little skewed because he ran in for a touchdown late in the game in the fourth quarter to seal the deal. Now, I know it counts in fantasy, but it was a little bit fluky, one of those fluky things. Aaron Rodgers only rushing touchdown so far this season, but that helped him get to that point. I think Tom Brady could struggle a little bit this week. I think the Buccaneers are going to run the ball, especially in the red zone with Leonard Fournette. Tom Brady could take a little bit of a step back. Still, you're going to play him. I understand that completely, and I would play him. But I think the expectation is probably going to be a quarterback 12 finish instead of his usual, which is top 5 quarterback, like we've seen this season. Moving on to the running back position, my starts this week, and I'm picking guys who really have struggled this year, to be honest. And I think they're going to turn their season around potentially this week. Now, it doesn't mean I think they're going to be great the whole season, but I think they will have good opportunities this week. So the first one is Miles Sanders, the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. He takes on the Raiders this week. The Raiders' defense is okay, but where they're really susceptible is in the ground game. And so I think Jalen Hurts will be able to run in for a couple touchdowns again this week, but I think Miles Sanders will have an opportunity finally this week to get double-digit touches in the run game, potentially catch a couple passes, and have a really good week. So I know it's been disappointing, and it's very hard to trust Miles Sanders, but if you can't play him this week against the Raiders, then what's the point in rostering him, especially with all these bye weeks? If you have him, if he's one of your top 2 running backs, I think you should play him this week. The other matchup I really like, Cardinals taking on the Texans. I really like Chase Edmonds and James Conner in this matchup. Chase Edmonds has been really weird the past 2 weeks. I think it's because of the shoulder injury. But last week, he had 4 carries for 46 yards in the first half, and he also had 3 catches in the first half. So you're sitting there going, wow, look at this performance. He's about to go into the second half. He'll probably get a touchdown, have another 100-yard performance, and then he just simply did not play. He only got 37% of the snaps this past week, and it pretty much all came in the first half. They just gave James Conner the ball late. Reason for that is because they didn't want Chase Edmonds to get injured when they were up by a ton. They dominated that game, so they let Conner get a ton of run in the second half. But I think both of them will have good games against the Texans this week. Hopefully, for fantasy managers' sake, Chase Edmonds finally gets back to a normal workload that we saw early in the season, because he looked like he was going to be a surefire top 15 running back, and now it's a little bit murkier. My start of the week at the running back position is Darrell Henderson, the Rams running back. He takes on the Lions this week, and when you play the Lions, that means touchdowns. And Darrell Henderson will probably fall into the end zone at least once, maybe twice, hopefully 3 times, and then he becomes a true start of the week this week. My sits at the position, this is an interesting one for me. So the Bears take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. Khalil Herbert is coming off of a great performance. Damian Williams was out last week, but his first weekend when Dave Montgomery got hurt, he played really well. And so therefore, you're getting both of them back this week, and you're playing the best run defense in the NFL. Bad situation for both of them. I think Justin Fields is going to have to throw the ball finally this week, and I think that means that these running backs are going to kind of fall back a little bit. And for me, I think Damian Williams is the one I like more this week because of his pass-catching ability. I just would not go in trusting Khalil Herbert this week. I really would like to sit him if I can. Michael Carter is my next name for the New York Jets. He takes on the Patriots this week as they're coming off of a bye week. Not a great matchup for running backs, and I think he'll struggle in this game. The top guy I'm worried about, this is kind of hedging my bet a little bit. Antonio Gibson still has not been ruled out, but I kind of expect him to either go to the IR or miss this week. But even if he does play, I would not play him against the Packers' run defense. They've been really, really good against the run for a while now, and Gibson's not 100%. I don't think that run game is really going to get going against the Packers. So don't play Antonio Gibson, but I do hope he's active just because I don't want to see him go to the IR, see another running back go to the IR, as we've seen so many injuries already throughout the season. Moving on to the wide receiver position, my starts this week, and this goes back to that Khalil Herbert and Damian Williams thought process. I like Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney this week against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Justin Fields finally has a relevant passing game, and I think that these two could play a role in this game. I think they're going to throw it a lot. That's where Tampa Bay is susceptible. And so maybe Allen Robinson finally gives you the performance you're looking for this week, and Darnell Mooney maybe continues to be a deep ball threat and continues to cash in a little bit with Justin Fields at the quarterback spot. I also really like Jalen Waddle this week against the Atlanta Falcons. He had a great week last week. I think it continues with Tua at quarterback. Jalen Waddle is definitely a start, a guy that you should play in your flex position or your wide receiver 2 spot. I'm pretty confident in Jalen Waddle having good performance this week. I also really like Deebo Samuel against the Colts. I kind of like Brandon Ayuk against the Colts this week too, but I'm not comfortable putting him as a start of the week at this point. So Deebo is the guy, in my opinion, that you definitely want to play. Deebo's been great this year. You're going to play him, but I think against the Colts, he could give you some real upside this week. My start of the week at the wide receiver position, though, is A.J. Brown. Finally saw him have a nice performance against the Bills. Now he gets the Chiefs this week. It looks like Julio Jones is going to be out, and A.J. Brown is going to be a target hog. I think A.J. Brown could finish as a top 5 wide receiver this week, maybe wide receiver 1. Definitely play him. Don't be concerned about the injuries, at least not right now. He seems healthy, seems ready to go, so definitely play A.J. Brown against a really, really bad Chiefs defense. My sits this week at the wide receiver spot, Odell Beckham Jr., the wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. I am not playing him until I see something on the field. He takes on the Denver Broncos this week. I got to see it to believe it with Odell. Bench him this week. I know you're probably thin on options just because of the bye week, but if you can avoid it, don't play him. Play some of the other guys who are maybe a little bit closer to his rankings, such as, Jalen Waddle. Definitely play Waddle over him. Brandon Cooks. I'd even play a guy like A.J. Green against the Texans over Odell Beckham this week. I also don't want to play Tyler Boyd, the Bengals wide receiver against the Baltimore Ravens this week. Very concerned about the Bengals passing attack against the Ravens. Therefore, concerned about Tyler Boyd this week in that matchup. My top guy I'm worried about, And this is really tough for me. Last week, Tyler Lockett was that guy, and he had a really bad performance. This week, it's DK Metcalf against the New Orleans Saints. He's probably going to draw shadow coverage from Marshawn Lattimore. I just don't want to play him right now while Geno Smith is quarterback. You're going to have to play him, but lower expectations. And Tyler Lockett, same thing, but this week I'm more concerned about DK Metcalf just because of course, Marshawn Lattimore being in coverage. Marshawn is a true lockdown cornerback. So if you have another really good option, maybe you want to pivot, but you're probably going to play him. And if you are going to play him, try to play someone with a safe floor to maybe make up for if Metcalf does have a disappointing performance. Moving on to the tight end position, I love Kyle Pitts against the Dolphins this week. I think you're starting to see him turn the corner a little bit this season. I also really like Hunter Henry, the Patriots tight end, against the New York Jets. You might be able to get him off the waiver wire, be able to stream him, play him this week. He'll probably fall into the end zone again. He's been pretty consistent with that over the past few weeks. My start of the week, though, at the tight end spot is Dallas Goedert. He takes on the Raiders this week. And Zach Ertz is in Arizona now. So Dallas Goedert, he's got it all now. He's got all the targets. He's got probably a very high percentage of the snap count now and no competition. So Dallas Goedert should be a guy that you should feel very confident playing now, especially with Ertz leaving town. My sit of the week at the tight end spot is Rob Gronkowski. We still don't know if he's going to play this week, but I'm just concerned with this injury. And they're playing the Bears. If you have another option, try to play them and just see how Gronk looks coming back from that rib injury that he had. I just a little concerned about how he's going to look and how his body's going to feel going forward, especially since the Buccaneers really don't need to force him back quite yet. So that's it for the starts and sits this week. Of course, Fantasy Football Show, that'll be out on Thursday, so definitely give that a listen to. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do it. Please subscribe so we can continue putting out great fantasy football content and also just our NFL content in general. So please hit that subscribe button and also like the videos if you enjoy our coverage of fantasy football. But this has been Run the League on NFL on 365 Sports with Grayson Grunhafer.